And I'm interested on the Verlander and Scherzer stuff. I have high doubts, but let's just talk like extreme situations. If they're sellers at the deadline, is there a team that might be willing to trade for one of those guys? I certainly wouldn't trade both, and you may not get a bite on either of them. But I think it's something to at least keep in the back of our mind. Like, you know, if I were the Cincinnati Reds, and let's just say for the purpose of this discussion, the Mets fell out of it and they were going to become sellers, I'd call the Mets and say, how much of Scherzer's money will you pay this year?
And probably all of it if it netted a big prospect return. Joe, we just got to see this with Eduardo Escobar. Difference is Scherzer will be due to get paid next year. Escobar just walks after this season. So
yeah,
a little
it's an option,
different.
but
he's probably going to take it because it's a lot of money.
Right.
But you're right. You do. I think the conversation also would be around Scherzer. I think Verlander is here next year. There's the vesting option in year 3, of course. Scherzer's a guy that, yes, he has the no trade, but you think he'd waive it to go to a contender.
Yeah.
But you're right, Joe. And I think that's something that it's hard to do the glass half full thing here for the Mets right now. I get it. But one glass half full thing that we just got to see with the Escobar trade is this ownership is willing to pay off contracts to make the system better. It's not just dump this guy, get rid of the salary, we're done. It's we'll pay all of that money, you get the player, but that means instead of a C-list prospect, maybe we get a B-list prospect. For something like Scherzer where you're paying off that level of money,
you might get an
A-list prospect.
Yeah, you might get a quality piece, but the Escobar trade, like, to me, that's excellent work. And
that's the model, right?
That's the model. Like, if Steve Cohen and ownership, they're willing to pay down these contracts, I mean, he has the money, right? And it's one of those things that if you're willing to do that, teams are going to be more amenable to part with some things. Because, all right, well, we'll take Eduardo Escobar at the minimum. Maybe that's a Mark Canha conversation where he's owed a decent amount of money that no one wants him at that value, but for the minimum, maybe they'll give something. So it's something that I think in a couple weeks we're going to revisit this conversation